guys, I am so excited today for our topic. I've had a major breakthrough recently with it, and so I wanted to hop on and do a podcast for this for a little bit. Just to preface it, what type of person are you in life? I'll tell you which one I am once I tell you what they are. Let's say you get up in front of, like at school, you had some lines to say for a project or something, and you totally mess it up or you trip on the way up and you're so embarrassed, and all you can do is think about it and let it play over and over again in your head for the next hour, the next day, whatever, and it's still a hard part for you, and it makes you just feel horrible, and it makes you never want to get up in front of people again. Or you're a person that you got up in front of the class, you tripped, and you're like, whatever, you laughed, you moved on, and you never thought about it again. I want you to think about growing up in all these years, like, which person have you been? Well, I can tell you, I've been the person that I had a conversation, I said something stupid, and it stayed with me for weeks, for months, and I will sit there and agonize over what I said. Or in the past I did. Sorry, I need to really say this clearly. Communication is huge, you guys. Let me give you a little tip of what I learned. When I say, oh, when I mess up over something and then I agonize over months, I just told my brain that that's what I do. So now I say, when I mess up, in the past, I used to agonize over it for months. I do not do that anymore. So I'll say, in the past, I used to do this. That way my brain knows, oh, it's in the past and I don't do that now. So that's a huge one to catch yourself saying, just to give you a little tip on communication. Anyway, so I was a person, I will tell you one story, and I was an adult. I had children. I think it was I don't even know if I had all my kids with me or it was my youngest. I went to McDonald's with my sister and we got the kids Happy Meals. I don't know if you've ever done that or remember getting a Happy Meal as a kid, and you get to play at the play place. So we were in the play place area and there were tables in there, and I had on like a little sweater thing that was kind of flowy over what I was wearing. And when I walked past this table, this little girl's chicken nuggets, my little sweater thing caught on it and knocked it off the table because it was kind of a tight squeeze by that table. And I looked down and the chicken nuggets, lo and behold, had landed closed. So the chicken nuggets were on the floor. I was like, great. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, it looks like it didn't touch the floor. And I set them in front of the little girl, opened her little case up, and her mom and her are just looking at me. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Do you want me to buy new ones? And her mom's like, no, it's okay. And she's looking at me all crazy. And I felt stupid. And she didn't let me buy new ones. So I walk away. I agonized over that for the rest of the day. For the next day, I was like, I'm never going to McDonald's again. It makes me so sad telling that story because it's such a simple thing, but I kid you not, that was my life a lot of times in the past. So can you imagine me going around trying not to make mistakes, because then I would have to agonize over it and feel stupid, and so that would make me want to stay in my house. I'm sure there's people out there that can resonate with this, but I have been doing the work slowly and surely over the past several years to put myself out there to get over fear. I mean, heck, doing a podcast is a huge thing to put out there that I could say or do the wrong thing or look stupid, and I'm going to have to deal with that. Guess what? I'm totally okay with that. I am, and I love it, and I'm so excited to do this. And that's what is most amazing, is it shows me how much I've grown. And these are things I've wanted to do that have hindered me because I gave into all of that. But now I know how to deal with that. Well, fast forward to now, I've had a lot change. I've had a shift in a job and a shift. I go to church and we usually will get callings or get to be over things. And I got a bigger calling to be over our youngest children's group. And so I've had a lot of responsibility and things come on my plate with that and with my new job, and all at once. Now, change for me has not been the greatest in the past. And I thought, so my tip through big change like this is just keep my mindset where it needs to be, talk through things as they come, and keep doing the next step, the next thing that I need to do. It's like Frozen 2. She does the next right step, right? Is there a song to that? I think there is. The next right step. Anyway, and that has gotten me through till I got on the other side to where I could feel more confident. I've learned my job. I've settled in a little bit and just got okay with the uncomfortable. I didn't expect big things. I didn't expect me to clean my house all the time. I got to come home and take naps. Like, I allowed myself to really pour myself into the job, into the stuff at church, and allow myself a break in the other areas and not expect huge things of myself, which was such a nice thing to do for me until I adjusted over the last several weeks. So I would say in the last 4 to 6 weeks. And that was huge. And I think that's something in itself. And I wasn't even expecting to share that part of it with my aha of what I broke through. But at the same time, I think that's huge to allow ourselves the space to recognize that something big is going on in our life and adjusting until we adjust to that. And to let go of that expectation and give ourselves a little self-care, right? Hey, it's okay. We've got this. We're going to get through this. And don't worry about these things right now. Just focus on this and let's get you going good. And I think that's been a huge help for me through this, which is amazing. And I love to see myself succeed and get through the uncomfortable onto the other side, because we all want to feel like we're good at something, right? And we got this. And so to start out new at something can be scary and can be hard, but at the same time, it's so needed to get to the end result that we want. So we do one step at a time. But the huge aha for me was when I was making mistakes in my job. I said or did the wrong thing with the church people where I was like, I could have handled that a little better. I'm just doing the best I can. And nothing major. But like I said, I was falling apart over knocking a little girl's chicken nuggets over in the past, right? Years ago. So these things would happen. And in my mind, I was like, I don't have time or energy to lay on my couch and like let this run over my head. I'm just going to have to apologize or see what I can do to fix the situation and move on. And if that person wants to be upset at me, they can be upset at me. And I left their emotions on them, did what I could, and I moved on. Oh my gosh, you guys. I want to cry even talking about it. I didn't even know that was possible. I did not know I could let those things go and I didn't have to carry them around with me. Do you know how many years I was doing that to myself? I was beating myself up. I was replaying it. What does replaying something do for you or me or anybody? Nothing. It's already happened. It's already gone. Let it go. So granted, I haven't had a huge major thing come up to test this on besides all my little things, but it's working, you guys. It's working. So here's how it works. Something happens and we acknowledge it happened. And we get to label it whatever we want. Do we make a mistake? Were we human? My favorite one right now is, oh, I was human. Humans make mistakes. Nobody's perfect, right? Oh, I was human. It was just me being human. Okay. Do I need to apologize to somebody? Is there something I can do to fix this? Yes, no. If I can, then I do those steps and then I move on. And what I used to do in the past is I wanted to make sure that other person was okay. So in doing that, I was taking on their emotion. I was worrying about it for them and almost projecting what they would be thinking onto me, even if I didn't know what they were thinking. That woman with her daughter in McDonald's was going to think about me knocking over her daughter's chicken nuggets for the next 20 years of her life. And if she ever saw me again, she was going to remember that I did that. And yes, it should haunt me and I should feel bad for the rest of my life. If she wants to do that, she totally can. I don't want to hang on to that. I let that go. I let it go. And that was amazing. Now, the funny thing with this is I would like let it go. And then it was like my brain would kind of bring it up throughout the day because my brain was like, hey, aren't we going to worry about this? And it would kind of bring it up, but not in a worry way, just like, hey, that happened. And I was like, oh, yeah, that did happen. And then I would just keep going. So I acknowledged when my brain wanted to bring it up. Oh, yeah, that did happen. But I didn't bring back the emotion. I didn't label it anything other than I was being human. And I made amends and I'm allowing that other person. How cool is that? Allow somebody else to have their emotions. If it's negative towards me, so be it. And that is another big thing I've been working on, is not worrying about what other people think of me. Starting a podcast is a huge thing for that. Why don't you try it? And it's okay. I feel like I have a lot of things to share. If people like it, great. If they don't, this can be very therapeutic for me and my one follower on my podcast. That's great. But I know it won't be one follower because guess what? I've learned a lot of things and there's a lot of cool tips and tricks and things out there. And I want to bring that to you guys. And I want to have guests on and do a lot of cool things around this. So I hope you'll stick around. But I wanted to share that win because I didn't know how to get that in the past. And I spent a lot of years agonizing over things I didn't need to agonize over. And it makes me sad to look at the past me that didn't have those skills and know how to do that. But guess what? I'm going to embrace that too. That's okay. That's all part of my journey because now I know what it feels like to have the skills and do it on this side. So try it out. Let me know how it works. Let me know what obstacles you run into and play around with it. I think sometimes it can be fun to make a joke out of it. And I in the past, when I made mistakes when I was younger, I wouldn't want anyone to know, so I wouldn't talk about it. And as I got older and was in jobs and things where I made a mistake, do you know what I talked about for the rest of the day? I'd be like, yep, except for me who, messed up and likes to print 50 pages she doesn't need to print, and I would make a joke. And I wouldn't even be worried about it. I would just joke about it. I just felt like getting it out in the open made me feel better. And I'm acknowledging it to everybody, and so it was helpful to me. Yeah, I'll talk about my mistakes. It can be hard to do depending on what, if you're around a lot of people that don't allow mistakes and they're going to put you down for it, maybe not the best tactic. But at the same time, I like to be real. I like to own up to what's happening, especially in a job where I was in more a leadership role. I wanted the opportunity to allow other people to make mistakes as well and to learn from and grow, that we can laugh together, that we can support each other. That's a work environment you want to go to every day. If you're creating this space where everyone has to be perfect and you're going to make everyone feel horrible that makes a mistake, they're human. It's going to happen. And if they're going to be reprimanded for it every time, yeah, there may need to be a conversation and an acknowledgement. Yeah, I'll make sure that probably doesn't happen again. I call it filling in the gap. Oh, we missed that. There's obviously a gap. What can we do in our procedure to make that better? But guys, we're human. Allow yourself to be human and don't carry that baggage with you if you don't have to. It was just such a huge breakthrough for me, a huge accomplishment. I was telling my husband and crying because I was like, you're going to get this. You're going to get how huge this is for me. And he was excited for me, and that was really cool. So I'm just hoping that little trick and the things I've learned can help somebody else out there that, oh my gosh, it can hurt so bad to hang on to those things. One thing I've always wished is that, and maybe it's not a good wish, but having emotions inside of you like anxiousness and depressive thoughts, and I do say it like that instead of saying I have anxiety and depression, is that's labeling myself with it, and really what it is anxious feelings and depressive thoughts. So I'm not a depressed person. I'm a person that has depressed thoughts from time to time, but I'm not depressed, right? I don't want to label myself as that. Same with anxiousness. I have a lot of moments that cause anxiousness, but it doesn't mean I have anxiety, right? I have other moments that aren't that. So I'm not going to label or take all of that on. Having moments like that and being able to navigate it is huge. And so I just want to be able to find the best ways to navigate those, because we're all human and they're going to come up. And we know they're going to come up and that's okay. If we expect it, I think that's a huge one for me too, is if I expect that something's going to go wrong and I know I've handled things in the past, I don't freak out as much about that anymore either, because I've learned to trust myself. I have confidence in myself and my abilities. I used to really agonize over money, agonize over situations that would happen. And now they still come up and I don't love it. And there are some hard feelings around it. But my thoughts are more, okay, how are we going to get through this? What's the answer here? And I've never met an obstacle that's killed me. It may not have been fun to get through, but sometimes when you get through it, you're like, I did that. We got through that. We're just fine. We needed new tires, didn't have the money. Oh, they let us open a credit card to pay it off. Okay, cool. Solution found. Is it fun that I have to pay off this credit card? No, but I have tires on my car and I can get to work. So solution found. And then if I want to agonize over that, that's the same concept of dragging it out or saying, hey, I found a solution, and getting excited that I get to work through that. That's huge. Just to be able to have wins like that is huge. But I wanted to share the insight around that because I feel like it's such a growth moment for me, and it can be for you too, is to look at those areas of baggage and things you hold on to or beat yourself up about when you're just being human, and allowing yourself to make mistakes and be a person that experiences new things, gets embarrassed, or maybe not even embarrassed, does something that would be embarrassing to somebody, but just rolls with it. I mean, let's be real. The older we get and you forget someone's name, you say someone's name wrong. I remember it was more the youth group at church that was 12 years old, and I was teaching something and I wanted to really impact it. And so I was saying each one of their names, and I got to one girl and my mind went blank, and I kept having this name that was closer to her sister's name. And I just couldn't say anything and I'm looking at her going, I know her. And I felt so bad because here I'm trying to make it the special moment where, hey, it's like if God was talking to each one of you with your name. And I was like, oh, I'm blowing it. So they're like, it's so-and-so. And I'm like, I know that. I said, I'm so sorry. My brain just went. So I was talking to her afterwards and I was like, I hope you know, I know your name. I had a moment like that, but I hope you know how special you are and that I know you. And so I just took that moment. Sometimes when I mess up, I'll take somebody a bar of chocolate later. I'm not against bribing people to like me. No, I think sometimes gestures go a long way. So if I mess up, I'm like, oh, I owe you a candy bar. And that just like smooths it over for me. I'm happy buying you chocolate, and maybe it makes you feel a little better, even though I forgot your name. I don't think I bought her chocolate on that one, but just moments like that. I think the more I allow myself to be, the more I love myself, the more I'm happier, the more I will go try new things. So it can be a cool, helpful thing. So I'm curious if you guys have had breakthroughs in this area, if you've hung on to things in the past or beat yourself up for years. My favorite story, I guess not my favorite, but one of my favorite things that our mentor, Michael Burnoff, when we go to an event of his, he'll usually tell this story. And I remember the first time I heard it, it really hit home to me. And even when he tells it times after, I just love hearing it because it's a good reminder and it really, really helps me. So I wanted to share that with you today because I think it's such an impactful story and it can help you to realize how you're treating yourself and what to do with hard situations. So he talked about this woman that was trying to get help, and she was like, I want to say they were in Israel or somewhere where some terrorists got on the bus they were on and held them hostage for days. And there were these 3 terrorist guys, and she was there with her daughter. And I may be mixing up some of the details, but the gist of the story is she was on a bus with terrorists, these 3 terrorists for several days, and she just couldn't get past it. She was terrified. She thought about it all the time. And he was going, okay, got it. So you were on a bus with these 3 terrorists. 3 terrorists got on the bus, 4 terrorists got off. And then now you're living your life and can't deal with it. She's like, no, there were 3 terrorists. He goes, yeah, there were 3 terrorists that got on. And then 4 terrorists got off. And now you're living your life and you can't get past it. And she's like, you are not hearing me. There were only 3 terrorists. He goes, yeah, there were 3 that got on, but you got off and you've been terrorizing yourself ever since and being the terrorist. And that was huge. Like, she brought what they did with her and was carrying it with her and terrorizing herself by bringing it up over and over again. And that's what our brains can do if we don't take control and really recognize what we're allowing to carry with us and not get over. And those are things we can definitely get over. That's what I've learned is our brain is very powerful, very resilient, works on patterns, and different tips and tricks can really help to get those things out of the way, which is amazing to me. But that is an impactful story to me of like, oh my gosh, am I terrorizing myself? Am I the one telling myself bullying myself, telling myself, you messed up, you did this, and I was. And so I try more often than not to allow myself to be that person that bullies and terrorizes myself. And so that's why that breakthrough was so huge for me, of allowing myself to mess up, deal with it, and move on without terrorizing myself for months and years afterwards. That's a lot of pain. That's a lot of hurt. That when it really hit me that I was doing that to myself and allowing, and maybe not on a conscious level, but allowing my brain just to run amok and not really take control of that. Guys, we have so much more control than we think over our brains, and we can do the work to get past that and really try. I've seen amazing things shift for other people, for myself. One of the biggest things I had to work on is my underlying belief was that I was not enough. I'm not enough. I believed that in the past. I didn't realize that was my mantra underlying everything that I had insecurities about until I was at an event for Michael Burnoff, our mentor, that helped me really hone in. We were writing our limiting beliefs. And so I'm writing it on the paper. And I remember just thinking, I want to do these amazing things in my life, but I'm not allowed to. And when I realized who's not allowing me to go after these things, it was my brain. It was me. It was my fear of what I believed in myself. It was my bully, right? You are not enough. You are not good enough. You can't do that. And I remember just breaking down and crying at this event. They give us these partners to work with, and my partner is just like, you okay? Because I'm bawling while we're doing this exercise and writing these things down of what my limiting beliefs are, and realizing they come from me. I'm doing that. I'm the hindrance to me. And it was just this huge aha moment for me. And the cool part is breaking down, realizing it. Who can I control on this whole planet? Nobody but myself. So if I'm the problem causing it in my mind, and I just need to learn how to adjust that and work with that more, then I can be the solution. And that was a very empowering moment for me is, hey, I'm getting results based on the patterns I'm allowing to happen in my brain and my thoughts. And I can take control of these and I can shift this and I can get past this. So I'm sitting before you today or talking to you on this podcast, if you're listening, a person that has shifted my patterns and gotten results in my life to allow myself to go after the things I want in this life. It's not just for other people, it's for me because I can do it, because I allow myself to do it. And I don't need that validation or allowance from anyone else. I can give that to myself and I can go forward and do all these things. And I can sit here today and just say I'm proud of myself for doing that. But more important to me than celebrating myself, and I think it's important to stop and celebrate our wins, so that's why I'm doing it, one. And two, my goal is to give that to more people, to help people at whatever age you are, but hopefully even younger than when I learned these things, to navigate their life, navigate their brain, and get the results that you want and go after the things you want, because you are enough. You are enough just how you are. And you have everything inside of you need to grow and become whatever you want to be and to go after the things that you want to go after. And that's huge and empowering to me. And I want that to be something that people can grab onto and learn how to do that for themselves. Just the fact that you want to try and go after those things, or to shift your mindset and to let go of anxiousness and to find a way to be happier and to navigate the things in your life and allow yourself to make mistakes is huge. That will get you to so many areas just by that shift alone of being open to it, of being ready for it and working on that. So thanks for jumping along for this one. This is a little bit shorter podcast, but I really just had that on my heart to share that win, of that accomplishment, of knowing we don't have to carry that baggage with us, that we can let that go, that we can truly allow ourselves to be and love ourselves. And I think that's a huge step, a huge aha, secret sauce to life of how to live full out and to allow ourselves to be human, to make mistakes, to move forward, and to not allow our brain just to hang on to things that we don't need to take control of that. And I will teach you how to do that more. That's what I'm here for. So thanks for joining me. We'll talk again. Bye.